All right, we're here in Dallas at Star Wars Fan Days 2 with Leeanna Walsman, Zam Wessel from Attack of the Clones. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
So you grew up in Australia.
Yeah.
And is it true you quit high school to become an actress?
Sure. I just quit as well because I was over it. But I knew what I wanted to do, so yeah. You know.
Yeah.
I said to my parents, if I quit, this is what I want to pursue. So.
And how did that go over?
That went over fine, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I was already working surprisingly fine because my parents were fairly strict, so I thought I was going to get in a lot of trouble, but they were really cool with it.
So did the acting career take off, or did you have a few years of downtime? Or?
No, I did pretty well, you know. Like I also have travelled a bit and all that sort of stuff and keep myself busy doing other things. But yeah, I've earned a living off it for the last 12 years, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and what were your acting experiences like leading up to Star Wars?
I was doing I was doing theatre and TV and film. I'd done a couple of films, and I was actually in a play at the time at Sydney Theatre Company, and the casting agent came and saw me in that play, and that's how I got cast for Star Wars.
Oh, okay, I see.
Rose Byrne was in the play as well.
Right. So you worked with her. Any other Australian actors who were in Star Wars? Did you work with them?
Well, the industry's pretty small, and I've been working for a long time, so I know quite a few of all the people that were in it, not from conventions or anything else, just from in Sydney. I mean, one of the first people I told I had the job to was Joel Edgerton and Nash Edgerton.
Right.
And Nash did the stunts for Ewan, and Joel was in it as well. He's an actor, and I mean, Joel was the first person I told. I called up and went, I think I've got this job, I'm not sure. So I got it before him, and then I remember, you know, I was working with Rose, and I didn't know who Robin was, Gerland, who's a casting agent, was, and we were doing a photo shoot the next day for something, and I asked her who the woman was she was sitting with the night before, and she told me. And then that day I was called up to go in and meet her, so, you know, yeah, and there were a few other people too, some people that got cut. I mean, some of the Australian actors that we used are pretty high profile in Australia,
yes,
so,
right,
yeah.
Right. So was it a situation where Star Wars has come into Australia and just about everyone sort of went out for it, or did you get called in?
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just got a phone call. So Robin had come to see the play, and I think she actually cast a lot of stuff from seeing theatre in Australia.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know if there was any casting process for any of the roles or anything like that. She just came and saw the play. I was the lead in the play. I think she came to see it for Rose, and saw me as well for this character. And I just got a call one day, and I went in and met her, and she said, I've got this idea that you'd be good for this character. And she kind of said, oh, it's this bikey chick.
Like
That's
a biker chick.
Said. Yeah, she said it's like this biker chick. And I had, in the play I was doing was really physical. I mean, all she saw me doing was running across like dirt and on a play set. Like I was just doing all this physical activity, and I had short cropped hair and all this sort of stuff. And I said, wow, that sounds cool. And she said, would you be interested? She kind of taped part of our conversation, and then the rest of it, she turned the camera off and talked about theatre.
Wow.
So, I mean, I walked out of there not knowing if I had a role or not. Not actually even knowing what the role was. In fact, I kind of got the part, and I didn't know what the role was for ages because it was quite secretive.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so wow, you were just in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, pretty much.
How cool. And what did you know about Star Wars prior to Attack of the Clones?
Just that it was Star Wars.
Just
that
Star
was
Wars,
it, you know. Like
did you see it as a kid?
I think I did, to be honest. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
And to this day, I don't think I've seen the complete series. So
oh, really?
I should do that soon.
Yeah, you should. So,
just saving something.
So you're accustomed to performing physical action type roles in, huh?
Kind of physical acting, but I mean, I've done a couple of kind of physical things, but yeah, I mean, yeah.
Did you do your own stunts on Attack of the Clones?
I don't think anybody else was doing them for me. I'm pretty sure I did them all. Yeah. I was definitely there that day.
Well, what do you recall being like the most physical thing you had to do as Zam Wessel?
Oh, look, I had to do all of the running around. I just don't know if they did something later, but I'm pretty sure it was me. to be honest, I mean, we spent a day running around chasing each other in the scene where, well, the whole thing, you know, we're on the ground when he's chasing me and into the club and all that sort of stuff. But really physical was the plane on hydraulics. Which kind of seemed like it was spiraling out of control.
Like an amusement park ride, right?
Yeah, but it was really full on. Like at one stage, it just, they must have cranked it up or something. And I just remember it finishing.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens, but there are all these screens around us that kind of replay the last part of the scene that they just shot. And I just remember looking up at it and just seeing myself being thrown around this cabin and just looking really bewildered because it was the part where it kind of crashes.
Yeah.
And my helmet was broken and things were falling off, and I kind of thought, wow, I hope there's like safety here.
Yeah. Do they have seatbelts in space?
I don't think they have seatbelts in space.
They didn't buckle you in, huh?
No.
Wow. And you know, they've made little toys of that ship, your green ship, speeder. Do you have any of those, or do you feel yourself getting?
I might have had one a while ago, but no, I've got a little action figure, but I should totally. What I really want to get that I realized I didn't realize that they made of me was a Lego figure, which I think is pretty much the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just signed one today. I just saw my first one close up today, but the guy I signed it for said that they don't exist anymore. So I don't know.
So did you play with Legos when you were a kid? I mean, is that just...
No, but Lego's pretty cool. I mean, don't you think? I think it's so cool. I mean, it's
Legos
retro.
is fun.
Yeah.
You know? Somewhere along the line, I heard that it was like the most produced toy, the little Lego man.
Yeah.
There's like a bajillion of them out there now.
It's amazing.
So yeah, Legos are fun. Do you ever feel yourself getting sick to your stomach when you look at that scene again or see that ship again and just bring back memories of being tossed around on the set?
No, not at all. I wasn't on. Maybe if I was in it all the time, but I didn't have that much. I mean, I wasn't there for an eternity like everybody else.
Was it fun?
Oh, so much fun. Yeah, man. I was doing like I said, I was doing some theatre at the same time, so when I was working on it, I go at like 5 a.m, and then I go straight to the theatre and perform.
Yeah.
So it was like this relief, and it was kind of like Hayden and I just running around chasing each other all day. It was cool, you know. And Nick, the stunt coordinator, is just the nicest guy.
Everyone says that.
He's just a dude.
Nick Gillard.
Yeah. Just like a really cool guy. And during that time, Rose and I kind of hung out with some of the guys from the show, like Natalie and Hayden, and some of the Lord of the Rings guys came over and all sorts of stuff. So it was kind of cool. Like everybody was really young and innocent, more so, I guess.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I'm sure you guys are real.
Orlando was a star, all these sort of things. So it was like these guys came over and they're working on this cool movie, and they're pretty stoked, you know, and then we were there and we're pretty stoked. So yeah.
So did you guys just go out and hit the pubs or something?
No, not really. But like I remember they came over at one stage, and you know we all hung out one weekend, and it was a couple of times. But yeah, it was cool.
So who from Lord of the Rings came over?
So Elijah, Orlando, and the two Dominic and the guy that's on Lost now, and then the other guy, and there was another one who was really sweet, who was Irish or Scottish or something, or English.
Wow.
He was the other guy, the two kind of...
So Anakin and Frodo hitting the streets. That's great, with Zam Wessel in tow. And unbelievable. So you guys got along real well on the set then. There was a great chemistry with you and Hayden.
Fun.
Natalie.
Yeah. A lot of fun. I mean, I didn't do anything with Natalie, but Hayden I got to know, and he was really lovely.
Yeah. And what about the big man, George Lucas? Impressions on George?
He's lovely. I you know, like, I mean, I did the show and stuff like that and spoke to him a couple of times, but him and Rick were really good to me. I went into the Skywalker Ranch about a year later or a year and a half later to do a really small pickup and a really tiny bit of, like, the end part of my dancing sort of dialogue, a bit of grunting and a little bit of... language from a different place, Star Wars land.
I'd love to hear the outtakes of that. Now, they did feature some of that on the DVD, on the special the special features.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this on the show because there is that shot of you grunting and.
Oh right. Well, that was at the ranch then, and
I really enjoyed that. I just wanted.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Play it and repeat at home late at night.
Oh yeah, constant loop.
Yeah. But when I was there, so I was there for a few days, and I only worked for like an hour or two. But George took me to the Madonna concert.
Ooh. So you went and partied down with George Lucas at a Madonna concert. Does George Lucas party down?
We didn't party. We just sat and watched.
Just sat.
His daughter. He'd taken his daughter and a couple of her friends.
Mm-hmm. So what provoked
really
him to ask
him.
you to come to the Madonna show? Are you a big
I was
Madonna
like, wow,
fan?
you're going to Madonna? That'd be cool. Not really, but kind of thought the concert would be awesome. And I don't know, I was there later that day, and his assistant said, "So do you want to go? We'll try and get you a ticket." And I was like, yeah, of course, sure.
Wow.
So I ended up going with him. It was great. It was really sweet of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I could take Zam Wessel to a Madonna concert, I think that would be...
If I could take George Lucas to a Madonna concert.
And how about Rick McCallum? You said he really...
Yeah, they were just really kind to me. They said a lot of... I mean, I haven't had much to do with them since, obviously, but when it was first coming out and when we finished number 2, they were really complimentary about me to a lot of people, and I just thought that was really, really kind, considering there's a lot of people working on the show, and I wasn't there for months, so, yeah.
Yeah. Now, someone who has your stage experience, how bizarre is it to work in front of the blue screen?
Well, to be honest, it was only that little shot later on that was really just blue screen. The rest of it, I mean, the blue screen surrounded the entire studio, so the backdrop of, like, your shots do have blue screen, but a lot of mine kind of was a set, or I was in something that was actually constructed, so I didn't have to pretend too much.
You're too busy getting smacked around on the inside of that ship.
Yeah, and all the characters, there were loads of extras all dressed up, and that whole club scene was there, it was built, so it wasn't like I had to kind of imagine too much.
That is one of the few examples where a complete set was actually built for the show. And then, obviously, you ran in from blue screen when you were running from Anakin over towards the club, right? Yeah,
but even then, there were all the people and those sets was kind of there. So that street was mocked up in the studios, and all the extras were there. So we were running through them all, and that was pretty much a set as well.
Now, I'm going to ask you one more question about working inside the cockpit of that ship. For the original Star Wars, Harrison Ford is infamous for quipping, "How do you fly this thing?" the first time he sat down at the Millennium Falcon, at the controls for that. When you sat down, did they actually say, okay, you steer with this, you shift with this?
I can't remember, but there was a lot of me asking questions and people going, whatever you feel is right. There was no definitive answers about anything, really, so it was kind of up to you. It's like, I remember the first day walking on set, and Ewan McGregor's there, and Hayden, and I don't even know if I'd met George Lucas yet, but meeting him and then asking him just before the take, going, well, what accent do I use?
Yeah.
And the answer being, well, whatever you want. This is Star Wars. Right. So, which is a terrifying thing to say to someone if they want to make a good impression and they're already scared. It's like, well, what do I do now? Yeah.
So did you find, I think, because you have a thick Australian accent.
I didn't use an Australian accent.
No, you didn't. You went with more of an American sound, right? Right. So that was a conscious effort on your part, not necessarily...
Well, I just thought I'd sound stupid if I was Australian.
Oh, no. I think your accent is great.
Stuck out, like, oh, that's an Australian.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think there's, it's an exotic sound you got for a thick American like myself.
Yeah, right. Not for me.
So I'm from the Midwest. I think I sound pretty normal, but that's just me. You might think I have a thick accent. No. I don't know. So you told us you did some work at Skywalker Ranch. What was that like for you to go out there and be in that environment?
Oh, it's an incredible place. It made me really appreciate this entire empire beyond the film.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually a really beautiful, tranquil place.
Yes.
There's like deer roaming around and organic farms and everyone, it's like an entire valley with green, the beautiful grass and these huge kind of like old-fashioned southern-looking houses, and there's like 40 films being made there or edited or with sound. So incredible things are happening in this place, and some of the artifacts that George has got around are just phenomenal as well, but it's really understated. It's a really, really beautiful place.
A lot of activity going on. And when you go there, you stay there, right?
Yeah, there's a hotel there, and but it's really, really, really quiet. It's almost like no one's there. That's what's strange about it. And occasionally you see people riding by on ET sort of bicycles. There's all these bicycles that you get around on, and they're just like kind of moored in, and you take them off to go for a little ride around the valley, but you don't see many people. And then you open the doors to these places, and then you don't see people, and then there's doors within the doors that people are all working in. I mean, it's really tranquil.
Just tuck back in there, and they give you these bicycles. You said ET bicycles. Do they fly?
No.
I mean, nothing like that goes on over there. See, I like to think that for some reason, everything from the movies comes to life at the Skywalker Ranch,
Maybe it does. Maybe that's what happens late at night.
But, I have a question about Attack of the Clones. Now, when you saw it for the first time and Zam Wessel died, were you surprised when she transformed into some ugly alien?
Oh, no, because I didn't know that was going to happen. But like I said, when I went and did the pickups for the voice in San Francisco, that was the thing that George showed me. Wow, I've got this surprise for you. I was like, wow, what? And then he showed me this creature. That's what I went and did this kind of the voice for at the end.
So that is your voice when she
speaking that language.
Yeah. Do you remember what the line was? No?
But I had to say it.
It's something Slamo?
Yeah.
I don't remember off the top of my head. That's great. So you knew before you were prepared.
Yeah.
By the time you went to the premiere.
Yeah.
Ready for the questions, which I'm sure some may have asked. People come up and say, "Oh, you're looking good now."
Yeah.
So, what kind of impact has Star Wars had on the Australian acting community?
I'm not sure, because there's a lot of films being made in Australia, like there's a lot of stuff that's made there, like Baz Luhrmann's films and Wolverine, and I mean there's heaps of things that are being made there. So of course it was quite epic at the time. A lot of people wanted to be in it, and it employed a lot of people for a long time. And not only that, it was a film that actually had a lot of people working on it would have been fans of the original Star Wars. So it had a different sort of impact going on, and things like this that I'm at a convention now, like a completely foreign and new, and for me and whoever would have been involved in Star Wars. But, I guess it's that. I guess it allowed some of the Australian actors to reach an American audience that they hadn't reached before.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of impact has Star Wars had on you personally?
Well, it allowed me to go to America for the first time about 7 years ago, nearly 8 years ago now, and it gave me leverage, and like I said, that they said such nice things about me originally, really helped, and of course I'm in something that has this incredible other kind of life, other than just a film that I had no idea about, unbelievable, and so I guess it's opened up all of that other realm and made me realize how powerful film can be.
Yeah.
Like absolutely powerful.
Right. And do you find yourself doing a lot of conventions?
No, not that many. I've done a couple, but I mean the last one I did was C3 maybe.
Yeah.
So it was like 2005 or 6. Yeah.
I remember you were out in Chicago in 2002.
That was the first one I ever did.
That was the first one you did, yeah. I sat in on that Q&A that you guys did.
Yeah, right.
That was fun. Star Wars allows you the opportunity to see the world,
Well, yeah, possibly.
Are you still based in Australia?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. You ever think of moving to LA, or have you ever tried?
Sure. Yeah, I've gone there many times.
But not permanently, though?
No, not at the moment.
Never.
Australia's beautiful. I'd move places, but I work in Australia, so it just depends what happens, but I kind of drift a lot, so I just take each day as it comes.
So what are you busy doing now? Are you doing film, stage?
I just finished a film that I was filming on a boat in the Maldives about a week before I came here, and then a week before that, I just finished a play for Kate Blanchett's company in Sydney, which I'm about to go back next year and do again.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. And do you sing?
Probably not that well.
No? Okay.
So no pop, no like top 40 is coming out soon.
Are you married or single?
I'm single.
Okay. Do you ever get any proposals at events such as Star Wars Fan Days?
No.
Not yet? What are your hobbies? How do you spend your free time?
I'm really into music.
Yeah?
Well, I'm really into the dramatic arts, so, like I try to help and I've got a lot of friends who are writers and things like that, so I like working on projects with them. I'm athletic, so, any sort of sports and things like that I'm really into as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to the gym a lot?
No.
No,
not like that. But
you like to play?
Yeah,
right?
like, I mean, I was in the Maldives, so scuba diving and things like that, or, just depend what's around.
Well, I certainly had a pleasure talking to you.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations on all your success with Zam Wessel and everything else you're involved with.
Cheers.
And I'm glad you didn't suffer any major concussions in the cockpit of that speeder.
No, but nearly.
Yeah.